Alrighty. Good morning. I'd like to call the Highway and Waterways and Building Committee meeting to order from Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Marion? Mr. Hess? Present. Ms. Parker? Mr. Swanson? Mr. Featherling? Present. Mr. Donnell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Kirkstra? Present. Mr. Smith? Present. Ms. Rittmanick-Emmy? Present. Ms. Amber Turner? Present. Mr. Crutcher? Present. Mr. Nims? Present. Ms. Denise Turner? Present. Mr. Alexander Hildebrand? Mr. Craig Long? Present. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. I don't have any public comments on my desk here. Is there any public comments? Is there any public comments? Okay, here none. Next on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes for March 13, 2025. If I can take a motion and a second, please. Featherland and Smith. Everybody in favor signify by say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next will be the biddings and the lettings. We don't have any lettings. Just
None.
No biddings, no lettings.
Neither one.
All right, so we skip that one. So go on to county engineers pay estimate, and I need a motion to combine and waive the full reading. Denise Turner, second by Crutcher. Okay, everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign. All right. So we got that motion. Do we have any remarks on that? Just don't have to read the whole, you know.
Anyone have any questions on any of these invoices?
Nope. All right. So no question, no comments. So then I need a motion to approve the county engineer's pay estimate. A motion on the second. Amber Turner, second. Nims. Roll call, please.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Marion? Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Swanson? Aye. Mr. Featherling?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Rittmanick-Emmy?
Aye.
Ms. Amber Turner? Aye. Mr. Crutcher?
Aye.
Mr. Nims?
Aye.
Ms. Denise Turner? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. I don't believe we have any resolutions at this moment, do we?
No resolutions.
Okay. All right. Under the waterways, we have the Aroma Park Sediment Management Project update. Do you have any update for that? Or if
I can tell you what I know. It's the contractor has started mobilizing to the site. They put up some fence to keep the looky-loos away from the project location. The first thing they're going to do is build a ramp into the river so they can get some of their equipment there. The river's up a little bit, which I think that might be slowing things down. They're hoping it goes down a little. We are having a ceremony next Tuesday, the 15th, at 11 o'clock. Kind of like I don't know if you want to call it a groundbreaking or a ribbon cutting or whatever you want to call it, but we'll be out there to celebrate the start of the project, and hopefully the contractor will be out there with all his equipment, and he'll put on a mini show, and you can get a look at what we're doing. I'm not sure everything will be there by then, like there may not be a barge in the river, but there'll be enough stuff there for us to get an idea of what's going on. And again, everyone's invited 11 o'clock at the Aroma Park boat launch next Tuesday, the 15th.
Mr. Fallon is 10.
We were out there, Craig was there too, about mentioning to the sheriff that he's gonna have a bunch of stuff sitting there because they don't have any police in the Aroma Park right now, I don't think. Did you tell the sheriff about that?
Oh, we can notify him.
Yeah, okay. Don't they call it something when you put that on the property? Drive-through or whatever, I don't know.
Security. We may have a parking issue anyway, so yeah. I can let him know that we're going to be doing that. I'm pretty sure he's aware though.
Okay, good. Thanks. Maybe you'll be there, huh?
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Let's see. Go.
Thought maybe we had more to add to that, but that's enough for now.
Okay. All right. All right, moving on to the Kankakee County Waterways Advisory Subcommittee update. They met the beginning of this month, and they still talking about different things, you know, coming up with ideas and give some information in terms of what they think that they could bring to this committee. I made sure to let them know that in the very beginning of their meetings, I believe it was during the first month or the second month, they voted on 3 specific items, which were education, well, boating education and waterways education. Second one was rejuvenation or maintenance of the river, ideas for that. And the number 3 was safety. And I want to make sure that they will continue to look towards those 3 items and not just go offline a little bit. And so, but they were doing great. So the next meeting is not going to be until, I believe, June, the first Thursday of June. Eric has something you'd like to say? Huh? June 10th? Okay. Crutcher is 13.
No, I was just saying, he said June 5th.
Oh, June 5th. I thought you said 10th. Okay. Yeah, I know that is on the first Thursday of the month. So whatever day will end up to be, it's always on the first Thursday of the month. So, but yeah, it seems to be going well. It's just trying to shape up with some ideas and bring it up to you guys. That's what they're doing right now. Questions on the advisory committee? No, we have something coming up later, so which is related to that. Do we have anything else, sir?
I have nothing else.
Thank you very much. Okay, next will be buildings. Mr. Workman. Before we begin, I'm going to do it the other way around now here. If I can have a motion and a second to put on file the facility due report, financial report, and building report as combined. Crutcher. Okay, Miriam. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Same sign. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So buildings and ground report, April 10th, 2025. For the facility dude, we had 151 work orders completed for the month of March. There's 19 currently being addressed. Any questions on those? Financial report, we're currently at a budget of $377,075.55 compared to $514,707.74 at this time last year. Most of those savings are still, as we spoke last week, they're still in the 52,100 building maintenance materials, which we are currently at $34,024 compared to $43,000 last year. 56,400 is the service repairs by outside contractors. I'm still trying to do a little bit more in-house if we can do it at all, instead of trying to just send it out all the time. And we're currently sitting at 65,468 compared to 124,068 last year. Now, of course, we can't always do everything in-house. Some of the jobs are a little bit bigger. But if it's something we can handle, I will instruct them on how to do it if they're not familiar with it, and we're going to try doing it in-house. 87,510 is the building improvements. We haven't gotten to outside quite yet with the snow and everything just coming by, and now we're heading into summer. But currently we're at 525 for the year compared to 82,037 last year. So I think we'll be good this year on that portion of the outsides of the buildings, until something, you know, arises that we need to address. With the exception of 56,200, which is still the maintenance contracts, and this is probably something I'll talk about every month. We didn't get exact numbers of what it was going to be when we did the budget last year, so the increase is a little bit more than what we had assumed. So this year, currently, we're at 67,875 compared to 59,674 last year, and that's just the maintenance contracts for uniforms, mats, and our heating units and stuff like that, PMs and all that. So all that stuff is, I have no control over that. It's just what they're billing us at a higher rate this year. Any questions or concerns on those? Going into the building report here at 189 East Court Street, as reported on last month for the energy lighting program. On March 25th of this year, Eric Cavender and I met with ComEd Inspector representative and the Gemma Consulting, Peter from Gemma Consulting. We walked the 189 building again, and we did an actual count with the ComEd Inspector, so he was on board of every fixture we have that we are replacing. We are just now waiting for the actual install date. We have been approved on this building, the state's attorney's building next door, and the ICANN building. All three of those programs are locked in place, and we will move forward on the install. It's just we have to wait until that time comes. They got to get the materials gathered up, and they'll get back to us with an actual install date. I'm hoping here in the next 45 to 60 days it will be complete. It's going to be a great project for us here, saving us quite a bit of money. The Treasurer building is finally, we moved all that. I know I talked briefly on it last month. We were in the process of moving it, but everything of the circuit clerk is out of that building and here in the basement at 189 and secured. The only remaining materials over there are some chairs and tables that we're probably going to declare surplus. They're pretty beat up. They come from the courthouse, but we will have that done here in the next 30 days as well. So, and I'm going to talk to Matt Alexander and figure out how we're going to just turn the electric and heat off, or gas over there off completely, so we're not paying another bill. If it's nothing in there, we shouldn't have it going. Sure.
So a lot of the things that were in that building came from the courthouse when we did the reconstruction over there at the courthouse. And know that the heat has not been on, and the building isn't all that secure, and a lot of the items in that building were as old as 1853. And so Ted and his crew and some subcontractors were able to gather up all of those things and reorganize the basement in this building in order to make safe, secure, dry, emphasis on dry, storage for those important records. I would remind you that some of those records from 1853 were saved by men around the turn of the century when our last courthouse, the previous one to this one, burnt to the ground. They ran into the burning building and saved those records. I thought it was important, Matt thought it was important that those records be more securely saved and not exposed to the elements, the wetness, the possibility of being, something happened to the building or whatever. So they are now in this building. The basement here looks amazing compared to 6 months ago. It's clean, it's dry, and kudos to Ted. He did a great job, and they did it in record time. I was terribly impressed. That was born on a Thursday, and 2 weeks later it was done. So thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Could these are such old records. Is this something like the Historical Society? They could put with them?
The records of the court and of the county have to be basically kept forever. The 1853 ones and subsequent years are they're beautiful. They're ledgers, like you might have seen keeping money books, ledgers, big books, all handwritten, all long handwritten.
Do we have a historical society? I know Moments does.
We do.
Kankakee does.
Kankakee County Museum. But all of those records are property of the county, and they can't leave our possession.
Oh,
so
shoot.
So what we've done is we've given them a much better place to be in,
Yeah.
where they're likely to be cared for many years. Someday, if we have some extra money, maybe we put some of those on display so you
Yeah.
can see
They are public records,
they are.
so you can actually get copies if you like, but we just can't have them leave the buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wondered if that did.
I've looked through quite a few of them, just reminiscing of some of the ways we used to talk and write back in the days. They're pretty interesting.
One of the sidebars is, like now we're used to the notaries having the little thing they squeeze and it leaves their impression and they sign it. Well, in the day, it was all hand done, and in these books, it's artwork. I mean, it's hand drawn and
Yeah.
and just beautiful. And so, if you get a chance, someday we can take you down there and show you, as county board members for sure. Take you down there and take a look at some of them and peruse them. They just need to be kept. It's our
Yeah.
history. I'll stop.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Continuing on, we also did for all buildings under my control, we did the quarterly filter changes so that we can keep those buildings a little bit better with the air quality. Moving on to the courthouse, we've had a small water seepage on the northeast corner of the basement over the last 2 rains. Of course, they've been pretty intense rains. We're trying to figure out how we're getting that seepage into the basement. It wet the carpet, an area of about 4 foot to 8 foot to 10 foot long, so 4 by 8 or 10 in one corner. Just the carpet got a little bit of dampness to it. I brought in Service Master. They sucked up the water, put some air movement on it, treated it so that there's no mildew or anything coming about. I've also engaged with the original contractor who did the basement, and they've come over a couple times, looked at it. We this week cut a couple of holes in so we can put some panels on it, look behind the walls if we can. It's not a whole lot of seepage, but it's enough to make the carpet wet. We also are going to get a quote on, originally they had done the east side and the west side of the building and flashed along the building to the concrete. What I'm thinking is that north side, being the north side, we should have probably flashed that as well. That is probably one of the most rigid parts of weather is the north. So we're going to get a quote back, and we're probably going to flash that to see if we can keep the water off of going between the building and the concrete. I think that's what we're really getting. I don't think it's groundwater at this point because we sit way too high, and as much rain as we got, I know we had a bunch and the ponds and the ditches are full, but that being a high point, I don't see it going through the ground, and I think it's running along the building, and maybe some of the sidewalk is pitched. We tried to put some levels on it. 1/8 of an inch over 10 feet is still a lot of pitch. Might not look that way, but when water's coming at you, it's going to go to the lowest point. So we're going to try to defeat that, and we're going to know here in the next 30 days. I'll report more on that next month. Old jail, we passed the 2 elevator inspections, which is always good. We are finished with the 3rd floor repairing, painting, and inspections. Out at JCDC, Jerome Combs Detention Center, we replaced 2 power modules for the UPS battery backup system in the IT room at the public safety building. That room runs all operations of cameras, internet, phones, and CANCOM 911 operations. The backup was running at over 80% max load because we had lost 1 module. Originally there was 4 in there, and at 2, 80% is pretty high. If we lost another one, the whole system would have went down. So I ordered 2. They replaced them this past Monday. It brought our load down to 36%. So we should be good on that. The cost of the 2 modules was $10,802. Those batteries were replaced February of 24, so we're still good another 3, 4, 5 years on the batteries. Currently working on A dorm and B dorm. The showers have been patched and epoxied, and now we're currently working on, my guys are working on cutting in the floors, and then the sheriff is going to allow us to have a few inmates to paint the main floors. We should have those done by middle of next week, and then they will start to do inspections and move people back in. Animal control, I spoke with White Construction this morning again. So the units are here that we have been talking about over the last couple months, as far as the supplemental air or heat for the kennel side. They are in a warehouse here in Illinois, and we're going to set a schedule here in the next 30 days to get them up, installed, and the gas and electric run to them. Of course, we're not going to need them here coming up, hopefully, but at least we know it's done for next year. Going back to JCDC and the work that we've been doing here lately, Mr. Carrico approached me earlier in the week and asked, hey, it'd be nice if I can maybe get a vision out there. It's been a while since I've been out at the building. Is there any way that we can do it? And so I've talked to the sheriff, and he wants to be totally involved in this. So if anybody else is interested in doing a walkthrough, a brief walkthrough, it might be 15, 20 minutes, a half hour. I'm going to be in contact with Mr. Carrico, and we're going to try setting a date with the sheriff, and then we can put out that information to you via email. Anybody else that wants to join in on that, you're more than welcome to see what we actually been doing out there.
Let me add a little bit to what he's saying. This is my third term here, and my very first time when I got elected, I asked the sheriff and the previous gentleman that was in the building to take a tour, and it was very informative, and I definitely recommend for any board member to walk around there, learn a little bit more about, it's amazing. The facility is amazing. The medical facility inside of the jail is amazing. It's just, you learn so much more when you're right there and you have everybody explaining to you what's going on. So.
Yeah, and it's a good visual for what I talk about through these meetings. Then you say, okay, what's the showers like? And of course, I only showed you the pictures of what it's like after painting. I do have pictures of what it looked like before painting, and you'd get a better view of what we've been going through. The building's 20 years old, and some of these are needed for sure. So, but at least you can see the cleanliness of the building, how activities work, look at some of the different aspects of it, like you said, medical and dental and all that. So we'll send out an email out here in the next week or so after we get an approach date with the sheriff. And if you want to join in, by all means, do so. That's all I have for today. Any questions or concerns?
No questions?
Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on. Keeping up with the agenda. Old business. Is any old business? Is there any old business? Okay, on the new business. Before we go into the new business, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to explain a little bit, because it's just giving you a little the heading for some of you guys. You probably have that on your packet also. What it's all about, and then after that we can have a motion and a second to approve and then open for comments. So basically, what this is going to be related to pretty much just changing the ordinance here when it comes to allowing another member for the Waterways Advisory Committee. There were some requests to have one more member to be appointed to that, which I'm already aware that we have a candidate for that, which will be reported back to you later on. To modify the number, so to be a 10 members of that committee. So you got to remember that advisory committee is in charge of coming up with the ideas and make recommendations to this committee. So they don't make final decisions of anything. They just come up with ideas and bring that to you guys, so you guys can evaluate and then pass on to the other committees and the full board. So that is to increase the number of representation within that committee. And the other thing is, one of those members, if you're not aware, back when Mr. Wheeler was chairman, he used to be the person that used to attend the Kankakee River Basin and the Yellow River Basin Development Commission meetings. I attended 2 or 3 of those meetings because he requested me to do so by the time he was leaving. So now we are going to, or the current chairman is going to appoint one of the members from the advisory committee to represent the county within that other committee that they have. So that is exactly what that is going to be happening with this. So we have 9, so we're just gonna have to increase by 1 to make it 10. So therefore, on the new business, is going to be the amending the ordinance 2024-04-09-01, and I need a motion and a second to go forward. Okay, Ms. Parker, second. Okay, that will be Amber Turner. Any comments? Questions? Okay. Nobody curious about anything? All right. So, will be a voice vote. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? The same sign. Great. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Do you have any other business? Mr. Fedlin, if you were intended to adjourn, I have something else afterwards. Okay. Go ahead.
Not yet. Not yet. Well, I guess if you want to adjourn, you can.
No, I do not. I have one thing to bring up.
When are we ever going to get one of those guys to come in and report to the committee on what they talked about and their discussions that take place and stuff? Because I don't get the minutes from that stuff.
Okay. Well, good
Can't
question.
watch it on TV
Good
either.
question,
It's not
and
on.
thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Well, they do not have to come here. That is my job to go to their meetings and then bring the back ideas. I didn't bring anything back because there's nothing new. But Eric's in the back there. He's going to be helping. He's going to be assisting with the Waterways Advisory Committee. So he's now in charge of managing and posting the minutes and the agenda.
Okay, good.
So
We gotta
we're
do it.
organizing this a little bit more. So he already posted. It's already online.
Okay.
So if you're curious about the agendas from before and the minutes from before, go online, and it's available to anybody to look at it.
Okay.
So, but it's what I'm going to do from this point on. I've been doing this. Just go in there, come back here, and give you guys some ideas.
Talk about we're working on policy and procedure too.
Go ahead, sir.
So my favorite saying in this group is we got to walk before we run. So we brought back a lot of information from the meeting in Indiana. And Eric is also working on a draft of the policy and procedure that will dictate how this group works. And you will see a lot more information in the future. This is only the 3rd or 4th meeting of that Waterways group. Is it 4?
I think it's 4.
4th meeting. So in the past, the minutes have been being done by one of the volunteers. Now we're going to make sure that those are done and done properly. Posting of the agendas and all that stuff, just like every other meeting in county business. So that's what you're going to see going forward. It's taking us a few minutes to kind of cross the T's and dot the I's is all. Does that help?
And the other thing is, you guys are welcome to, if you have any questions or any ideas, to pass along to me or whoever, and or to talk to Eric, and then we can just also pass to the committee. It's, if you have any suggestions, something you want to know more about what the committee needs to give it to you, you just can be put on the agenda for them. So, not a big deal. All right. Now, I have one thing here, and I've been working on this for a long time. It's been one of the old ideas that I had for a while. And this is going to be informative only. It's not part of the agenda. It's just giving information. I've been working on putting together a boating safety course class for the countywide area, and I'll be working a little bit more with Eric on that, so we can just try to join forces and make this successful. And that is going to be actually conducted by the U.S. Coast Guard Ox Division, or Division 8, and that is going to satisfy the Illinois requirement for conducting some specific classes of boats. So more to come. I'm already working on it. I just had that the whole entire course sent it to me yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out when we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it and how you guys gonna know about it. So that's gonna be part of the education, trying to educate people about safety, be on water. If have a boat, good. If you don't have a boat, you want to attend, that would be great too. So, any questions for me? No? Okay. All right, Mr. Hess.
Make a motion to adjourn.
This is second by Denise Turner. Everybody in favor signify by say aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you.